Well, all my gamer friends, it's been a while. I'm so excited to see how well the Fallout TV show on Prime has done. It's become a huge hit. What's even better is the games have seen a huge spike in player base, and I'm excited to talk about that and get into that after the intro.
But I'm gonna make myself welcome.
So don't forget, like and subscribe. And over here on Variety, from just a couple days ago, Fallout nabs 65 million viewers in first 2 weeks of availability. Fallout is proving to be far from a nuclear bomb for Amazon's Prime Video. According to the streamer, the series pulled in 65 million viewers in its first 16 days of availability, with the first season dropping in its entirety on April 10th, which makes it the second most watched title ever on the platform and the most watched since the debut of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. But that's pretty amazing, considering it's a new show and it made the second most watched show ever. And I'm willing to bet that there's more people in the world that know The Lord of the Rings than Fallout. And I'm curious to know how many of these people don't know the games at all. But it's so awesome to see that it's doing so well. And I think Amazon weren't too sure because there was a little bit of a controversy about them dropping the entire season at once. But that's something that they do when they're not too sure about how a show will be. Will it be successful or not? But a lot of people were like, well, if you dropped an episode every week, more people would be talking about it, which is also a good point. Amazon also says the show is the most watched ever among adults 18 to 34, with 60% of the show's audience coming from outside the United States. That's actually a lot. 60%. In particular, the UK, France, and Brazil have all proven to be hubs for the show's popularity. It should be noted, however, that Amazon has not released any data on how viewers are counted, especially when it comes to the completion of the show. So they're not counting if people have watched the entire show all the way through or not. The show has also proven to be popular with critics, holding a 94% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Me personally, I got a free month of Prime just so I could watch the show, and I watched the whole season all the way through like 4 times. And now my Prime is expired, and I'm hoping they come out with a home release, a physical release. I'm not sure if that's been announced yet, but I hope they do, and it comes with a bunch of features. I really hope they do. And they've already renewed Fallout for Season 2. So over here on GameIndustry.biz, Fallout 4 jumps to #1 across Europe following TV show launch. So these articles seems to focus on Europe, maybe just because it's spiked a lot more there than anywhere else. But Fallout 4 came out in 2015, so it's almost a 10-year game. The most amazing stat is how right here it says the game sales rose over 2,500%. That's a lot. That is huge. This is GSD data that tracks digital game sales across all European markets. Again, I don't know why it's just about European. Maybe this is a European website. So it includes digital and physical sales all across major European countries. This is also due to some heavy discounting on games in the Fallout franchise across all platforms. Games like this are pretty much always on sale, and if you're on Xbox, you can play most of them through Game Pass. And on Game Pass PC, you can play the original Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics, which you can't do on the console, which is a bummer because I would love to play those games, but on console. I'm just not a big fan of the PC gaming. That's just how I am. The majority of Fallout 4 sales this week were on PC, representing 69% of all sales. 69. Nice. With the rest on PlayStation and Xbox. However, it is worth noting that the game is freely available on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra. I don't know what it's called Extra. Meanwhile, Fallout 76 comes in at #8 with 85% of sales on PC. Again, the game is on Game Pass and PS Plus. New Vegas is at #9, and Fallout 3 makes #10. That's kind of nuts because these two games are over 10 years old. New Vegas came out in 2010. Fallout 3 came out in 2008. Fallout 3 being the first one I've ever played and one of my favorite games ever. But even the classic games are getting a little spike. Further down the charts, the Fallout Classic Collection is up number 43. Fallout 2 is at 57, and Fallout makes number 7. I'm assuming the Classic Collection is 1 and 2, and maybe Tactics. So over here on Ars Technica, we actually get a nice little graph because I want to see some graphs of how exactly this is spiked. This is only on Steam. Maybe it's harder to track that on consoles, but on Steam, it shows you a huge spike in 4 especially. Even I'm playing 4 again too, just because of the update. Though the update for console on Series X, I was kind of disappointed in. It just wasn't as big a jump in next gen that it sounded like it was going to be. I mean, to me, it looks exactly the same as the original game. Fallout 76, the online multiplayer title, is the most recent full release, which came out in 2018. I was there when it came out. I was excited. I was disappointed big time, but the game is way, way, way better now. Perhaps the biggest delta. The game hit its all-time peak of 40,000 plus players on Wednesday, April 17th. According to Steam charts, roughly 1 week after the series' debut. For the year leading up to that peak, Fallout 76 had hovered around 7 to 10,000 players through most of 2024, then jumped after the series' debut. Of course, that number only counts PC players and those on Steam. And only those on Steam, right? So that's only if they're on Steam. So they could be playing on PC. They could be playing on Game Pass for PC. I mean, honestly, without Steam and Epic, I don't even know how people get games anymore. So Steam DB, which is where this is from, suggests that the Fallout series as a whole has more than doubled its concurrent player count by on April 4th. That's only 4 days after the show came out, sorry. More recent titles seem to have preference, though almost the entire run of Fallout games saw renewed interest over the past week. Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition saw a 118% gain in Steam players, rising from an average of nearly 1,300, which is, still not bad for a game that came out in '08. The original isometric Fallout from October 97, did you catch that Easter egg? Saw a higher spike relative to its quiet existence. Well, yeah, it came out at 97, so it had averaged less than 200 simultaneous players, and then at one point, nearly 3,000 started clicking everywhere on their screen. It is interesting to note that people are still playing these like over 20-year-old games. I personally haven't played Fallout 1 or 2 or Tactics.
Excuse me!
So over here, it gives you a pretty sweet analysis breakdown of how the game is doing. And even right here for Fallout 3, which like I said came out in '08, just an hour ago, it was almost at 4,000. 24-hour peak, close to 6,000, and then the all-time peak, 11,396. But down here, you can see how huge the gain was in April. March, it was plus 71.6 or 13.12%, and then it jumps up to 466.65%. So think about how huge of a jump that is. So right here, they're showing it in so if I change this over here to the 10th, yeah, the spike isn't as huge, but I like that I can do that. See, April 10th was when the game came out. It's seeing a little interesting wide spike like that. Today's May 2nd. I don't know, I'll say the 30th, which was 2 days ago. So on April 21st, it had the highest spike right here, like I said, of 11,396. So over here on the original game, so you can see it's almost the same as Fallout 3. It kind of had a little bit of a peak, and then it went down again, with the height being at 3,940. With a huge spike, as you can see on every one, it's going to be a huge spike during April. I love it. This makes me so happy that a game series that I love got an amazing show that's being rated highly and getting lots of love. But this is also the thing that I love about adaptations, is how a show comes out and then it makes people interested in the game. But seeing an old game from '97 getting a spike, that's cool. Over here, I'm going to check out Fallout 4, which is the one that's seen the kind of biggest rise of all. Fallout 4, from April 10th to now, they all have the same similar rise of in a couple of days, it went up, and then peaked over here. But its all-time peak was 400. But I'm not sure if that means recently or the all-time peak ever. Probably ever. It goes all the way back to when it first came out, right? Which makes sense that their peak players would be when it first came out, almost 10 years ago. But interesting how it has a sudden drop right here, in one day, and then it went back up again. So what happened there? Who knows? That's interesting. Why would it do that? I can't see how it would go to completely zero for a day. Fallout 76, the most recent game, again with the similar rise of how it went up, and then its peak, 24-hour peak. But that's pretty wild that its all-time peak happened recently and not like when it first came out years ago. Almost 20,000 plus gain, 331 plus 0.14% gain. Again with the weird little drop on the same day. That's very weird because it happened also on the other game. What is going on with that one day? Steam go down or something? When you search Fallout, you can see like a comparison of all of them and how Fallout 4 has seen the biggest jump, and then 76, and then New Vegas, then Shelter, then Fallout 3. So even the mobile game Shelter, which you can play on PC, has seen a boost. New Vegas, again, very similar rise. Peaked, all-time peak is 44,000, which I thought would be higher. Crazy to think that its all-time peak happened recently and not when it first came out back in like 2010. The show has made some games spike the highest they've ever been at, the highest peak they've ever had all time. It's 44,890. It's like a 14-year-old game, and its all-time peak just happened like within the past month. That's the effect of what an awesomely made, amazing show based on a video game series can do to the games itself. Statistically speaking, this is the largest spike that a show has created for a game series.
You want to have sex?
Well, there you have it, all my gamer friends. The Fallout TV show was a huge hit, and just even when I'm talking about it, makes you want to go watch it again. And I'm really hoping there's a physical home release that I will buy, and that's exciting to see. And season 2 has already been confirmed, which is also really exciting. Probably another 2 years before we see that, and it's going to be in New Vegas. They ended the show with a spoiler alert, a shot of New Vegas. Sorry to all the 5 people watching this if I spoiled that for you, but if you haven't watched the show yet, too bad. You're missing out. Go watch the show. It's awesome. And then go play the games. They're awesome. And this makes me over the moon happy with an excellent show helping an excellent game series gain more popularity. And this is going to happen again with other games and other adaptations. And I love to see this, and I'm excited to see where this can go. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like, but comment below and let me know what you think of the show. Maybe you're new to it and you decided to go play the games after seeing the show. Did you like the games? If you've never played them before, what are your thoughts? I would love to know what you think. But beyond all that, don't forget to keep gaming.